Oh, we're here. We're here. Sorry for the little delays there earlier, guys, with the technical difficulties with YouTube, but we are here. We are live. We're all we're here. We made it. We have
Finally.
well, yeah, finally, right. About time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with the video before, but YouTube just hung up there. So sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical difficulties, so we had to put ourselves into a little bit of a time to get everything synced back up. So thank you guys very much for coming and watching. I know it's late for some of you guys. We have a special guest with us today. You guys know. You guys have heard it before here on the channel. It's Christian. See? Good to have you, man.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me to this little Q&A.
Yeah, we've had a blast having him. I know with my community as well as having him with community on the channel as well. Guys' team as well. I mean, you guys have also been growing as well as far as a team, not just yourself anymore. So it's good to see some new stuff getting done.
Yeah, that's actually a very exciting part of the entire, like the past year for us. But yeah, these Q&As are usually very nice for actually talking a bit about everything coming up and what we've been doing.
Yeah, like I was saying in Discord earlier today, it's really nice to, not everybody uses Discord, and sometimes it's nice just to hear people's voices, right? And see, and have some questions live, right? Some of you guys may not be able to, you're not Discord users, or you don't go on all the social medias and things like that. So if you guys have any questions today, try to keep it within the realm of something you know he's gonna be able to answer. Please try not to dig too deep. We'll dig a little bit, but if you guys have any questions, you guys want to see me do something that you didn't watch in the other video, today is pretty much just about helping you guys get introduced with this patch and letting Christian.
Yeah, so are we going to start by addressing my volume issue or?
Yep. I just, my wife literally just looked at me and she was like, yo.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear him now?
Is it better or?
I got you. I was on recording channel mode. You should be good to go now. Toby just gave the thumbs up. We're good to go.
Perfect. So we might as well start with wheelloader first person jitter. Yes, the first person camera should now be fixed, or it is fixed. That was actually dealt with because I was quite annoyed by that myself when playing, so that has been fixed. The issue was actually spanning for all of the vehicles. It was the inside view camera that was, or the first person view camera that was causing the issues.
I guess it would help if my equipment wasn't out of fuel. Good job. One of my favorite views is, I guess in chat, what's your guys' favorite views from the last the patch that you guys really enjoyed? For me, I've always enjoyed digging with a bucket camera. I've always liked being out a little bit further. Do you guys prefer out of cab, or do you guys prefer in cab? Because I've definitely, for me, myself personally, I've always been an out of cab person. when I play these games.
Yeah, for me it's definitely the focused driver cam. I think I call that one. But at the moment, the vehicles actually remember what cam you have, I believe. So when you get out and in again, it's gonna be the same cam that you left it in.
Yep. I know that's been a big one that a lot of people have been wanting.
Yeah. When you buy a new one, it's gonna default to the first one. But when you have both the vehicle, it should remain the same until you restart the game. So I was thinking about doing default cams for vehicles, and we might actually add that in coming patch as well. So you can set whatever cam you want to use by default. So that might be coming in a future update, but not with this one. To add to that.
As you guys can also tell how fast the 8000 runs. We got it. It just needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's dumping those out there a little too quickly. But the speed at which these things are dumping is massive. It should help you guys on your guys' mine sites with progressing a lot faster. These buckets used to take around 6 seconds to unload. Now, as you can tell, they're almost instant, but there is a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done with most of the buckets and handling with the bulk mode. But you should be able to dump a lot faster.
Yeah, but like the excavators are soon getting a major overhaul with all the bells and whistles. So that is coming quite soon, actually, or quite soon. It's within a reasonable amount of time. So that's going to be really nice to see. But we have managed to improve the 8000 and the 7000 quite a bit in terms of dumping speeds.
Yeah, that's one thing we noticed is certain pieces of equipment were better to use because they were faster on the dumping speed versus the bigger equipment being kind of nerfed because the dumping speed was too slow. So it was like, you know, but that's, you guys have changed quite a few things, right? And getting everything perfect when you're changing things constantly is kind of a pain.
Yeah. To add to, as Dragonloon asked, the camera now remembers where you were or what camera you used in each vehicle and also in the character. So if you run around in first person view and jump into a vehicle, it will remember that you used the first person when you get out of the vehicle as well. So that's quite a nice add-on for that also. What more? The beacons have been fixed for this patch.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one, being able to, for a lot of people jumping in and out. It was one of those things that wasn't that big of a deal, but it seemed to annoy people. So it was really nice that you guys addressed the camera jumping in and out of the vehicles and things like that, whether you're in first person or third.
Yeah. And with now I lost the plot, but wait. Nope. Now I forgot about that. But anyway, the update is dropping after this Q&A. So we're gonna be dropping that after for those that are asking that. Next question about the game for getting joystick bindings. That should now also be addressed. That has been changed and reworked to be a way closer to how other games handle it. So that should actually be quite a nice, or that should actually work really well now compared to how it was before.
And to jump in here before you jump to another question here, with like I showed in the video, the key bindings are very, the new version from when the game first came out, first off, over a year, there was so much clutter on the screen. I think it was off-putting. But now there's like a very small, nice, clean amount. And you can change things off. You can add in combos now, whatever you would like. Like for me, for instance, I play keyboard and mouse predominantly. I can play with all the other ones, but I prefer. But I came in here and changed all my modifiers. That way I can drive, move, boom, all those, and they've been sticking, no problem. So
yeah, and like we went with key combos instead of work modes because now you can make however many sort of work modes as you want, but now it actually says what, like here you hold shift and double and then W, like makes the track go forward. So there isn't some hidden stuff with checkboxes and stuff like that you have to
also with
there.
For something that I do is, for me personally, when I use since I stream, right, and I try to make sure I always give a really good view of what I'm doing. By default, if you guys are wondering, when you hold different modifiers down, you can also do the same thing with your camera as well, to be the same as your action for your tracks and things like that. So if you want to be able to pivot and turn at the same time, which you see I don't have it set up, but if I did, I could move my mouse right now by holding my shift key and the keys would still work in there. So it's very versatile when it comes to camera and track and controls.
Yeah, now you can actually just go through the controls and set the vehicles up like you want them, without having to go through multiple menus and all that kind of stuff. So I want to say this is a major improvement over the last system we had, where you had to create new presets and all that kind of stuff. So this should work very nicely with steering wheels and pedals and joysticks and all that kind of
Now
stuff.
Controllers have a default now as well too, correct?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Controllers actually run from sort of like the default input system instead of through the advanced system. So you actually get, if you have Steam controller set up, it will work. If you don't, it will still work because it knows it from Windows basically. So the controllers behave like a keyboard in the sense of how it's assigned to the game, but there's no on-off. The functions actually work like a controller should.
Yeah, because that's the issue that I had too as well. And I'd plug my controller in. If I didn't have it plugged in, I'd pull it out. It would just forget everything, and then I'd go to plug it back in again, and it wasn't quite working. I had to hit save, close the close game, open it back up.
Yeah.
And I did test that. I know it works for me. It may not work. You know what I mean? It's always video games, right, guys? But it definitely is, like you said, a mass improvement. I think for controller players, definitely come back in, guys. Definitely try out the controllers again. Give them a shot. I know some of you guys only play on controller. Come on in. Don't give up on the game. It's constantly being worked on. I know big one. I get a lot of questions. Come on back in. Try it out.
Yeah. And there is also we are coming out with mouse support for controllers as well. So you can actually move the mouse with the controller. So you can access all the menus and all that stuff without having to use the keyboard and mouse for that. So that should make it a lot more controller friendly as well. But that's not coming for this update. That didn't make the cut for this, sadly. But that's also coming.
Do you have any more questions on the controls chat while we're in that category? Controls and camera? If we can focus on these things here and kind of pound them out today for you guys and give you guys some questions with Christian here. If you guys have any, like I said, any questions, keep them short and sweet if you can, so we can get through as many as possible, and let them go at it. I'm just here to show what he's talking about. So
but meanwhile, I can address the thing with the memory leak bug should now be addressed. I'm we finally found a PC that it was happening to, that we could actually log the entire thing, and we managed to actually get that to never happen again. We haven't, after we fixed that issue, we haven't seen it again on that PC. So I hope that it's fixed for all of you guys that have it. There might be some other bug in combination, but I don't think so. I think it will work now for those that are that have had that issue. So that should be gone now. Yeah, but as I said, that only happened to certain PCs with certain combos of CPUs and memory, RAM memories. So that should be.
Yeah, it was only a select few of people that had it. It was a component issue. It's a component issue where just random anomalies will happen with games where it affects certain people but not others. Like I know myself personally, I went through and tested everybody that sent saves in, and I couldn't recreate my computer or my wife's computer could not recreate any of those issues. So it's very hard thing to tackle when you can't pinpoint what it is.
Yeah.
So that's good that you guys figured that out. That you guys were able to tackle that.
Yeah, we tested it on 6 different PCs, and it happened on the 7th we tried. Then we finally found one that had the specs needed, or to find it. So yeah, that's basically it. Should also give those that didn't have it a bit better performance now with that issue gone. But back to the controllers, the modifiers will not be toggleable, purely because that adds another layer of we tried it, but we didn't find it very nice to play with, because you could forget you had something toggled, and then you sort of ended up in a loop where it didn't work very well compared to, the idea was nice, but it didn't work very well. So we ended up scrapping that and just having key combos like most normal games. That seemed to be the one we wanted and the testers wanted. So that's the one we ended up with.
It seemed to me it seemed a little bit more smooth, just having a button to hold down to do what you need and use certain actions at a time. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't run this thing in a full sim rig, guys. So just because the things are more not toggleable, or they seem maybe more simple or dumbed down, you can still run full sim rigs. Just if you if you want work modes, just your foot boxes and things like that, just press it, just bind it to a foot box or a button that you can turn on manually in your control scheme, right? So you can it's very hard to get the game to do everything that you need. To run full sim, sometimes you have to run external programs, but this gives you a really good option for turning things off and turning them on for the majority of players.
Yeah, this update, we actually tested it in 2 sim rigs and just built the controller system after what we needed, so we could just play the excavators and everything as good as possible. So it should be very well built for the test rigs as well, because now you can sort of like use the pedals for the tracks, and then you just hold a button on the joystick and it actually just reverses the pedals, so each track go backwards and stuff like that. So you can actually also control way more with this, because you can have sort of the key bindings can be way more complex, and to your own needs, if you want them complex or not, or if you just want one button for it all, to just switch more, or switch all of the functions from camera to excavator or stuff like that.
Yeah, guys, we're trying to get to as many questions as we can. We're trying to get them down in order, so then we can get the patch out to you guys. Just want to make sure we focus on what and then there's also a lot of other theory crafting, hypothetical questions that right too. So we'll go through. Type your question again. It's okay. There's no problem. You know, buggy about spamming, guys.
No,
We're also it's late. It's very late for Christian too as well. So
yeah, it's been a long day. But and if you feel after this that I missed your question, just type it into the Discord and tag me and ask me again, and I'll try to answer it there instead. Um,
yeah, just
so,
the controls were a really big one for a lot of players, guys.
yeah,
It was a really big one. A lot of people got very upset, and it's very nice that Christian and them spent that much time trying to make sure that everybody somewhat happy. And I know I never had problems with the controllers. It's like I said, a simple guy, keyboard mouse.
yeah. But after the controls,
So we'll move into production.
we can just address a bit about the vehicles first. We haven't actually, for like some of the stuff that has been talked about, where some vehicles are underpowered and not. We haven't actually touched many of the vehicles. We have done some tweaking to them, but the underground stuff hasn't been touched because it was simply too much in too short of a span and too late for this update to actually start fiddling with those also.
Also, there's a lot of pieces of equipment to go over too.
yeah, and like they are getting the attention upcoming, so they just didn't just for this update it did not make sense to start fiddling with those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, some pieces of equipment that we've noticed on the stream here, guys. Yeah, we've had some issues, but the main thing is if there's an issue with something that's not working, just go leave a bug report, right? So that way we can look at it, and you know, Christian can go in there and then tweak a couple things. It may not happen right away or be hot fixed right away, but at least it's added to the list of things that need to happen. Right? So if you don't report it and you don't spend a little time in the community, then sometimes things can just be kind of skipped over, right? Like I can only test so many things before they happen, trying to do the recordings and things. Guys that do it, it's very, very quick to happen. If you guys notice, we've been getting patches every month, almost year straight.
Yeah. It's been almost every month. It has been a month and a couple of days actually between the updates, but almost one every month.
Yeah, that's unheard of, and especially how much you guys have been adding in. And it's like add a bunch, break a bunch, fix a bunch, add a bunch, and you know, we get all these cool new things, right? Like this patch, I thought it was funny when you said how small this patch was in the beginning a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I realized when I wrote the Friday article that I really undersold the update, because all the production, all the like controller stuff, all that, like the build modes, all that kind of stuff. It became quite an unpacked update, to be honest. And Harry Thompson's question: the UI update, would a UI update would add a hotbar quick swap to the inventory? There's actually a brand new inventory coming for the game that will be added along with the breakdown stuff. So that's coming, because we know we have a bit of like the inventory has been with the game since its release, and it's one of the oldest things in the game. So that's getting swapped out for one that is controller friendly, built to your specs for what we wanted to do. So that's something I really look forward to.
To jump in on Wing's questions back there, does the bucket and stuff like that get stuck on things? Yes and no. You really gotta, for me, I don't have that issue because I really prep my,
Um,
they will kind of rub if you're angle.
yeah, but it does not get stuck inside beds anymore.
Yeah.
That that is fixed, which was a main problem for a lot of guys. So that has been fixed. Mm,
Also, guys, we have
move.
the video that came out before this has everything that the patches was put into the patch. So we're just here for
Yeah,
questions and chatting with you guys here. We got a little time here with everybody
yeah.
while the patch is getting ready to be put up
To
Steam.
everyone. Yeah. Production wise, we have. The question is, should we look for production questions or should I just go over in general about the production?
I mean, I guess the best thing to do would just be just have everybody, because everyone's gonna throw random questions and we'll try to hit them in groups if we can.
Yeah.
Be the better way to do that. All right, guys. Try to get a good format for you guys here so we can cover as much of the stuff that you guys want to talk about. The one that's on my screen right now that I'm what my view is, because I know you're a little bit delayed from from what I'm seeing is I'm looking at the conveyor straight pieces right now,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah, so those are also added. Um, uh, we have now the 1x, which is just 1 block long, and the 2x, which is 2 blocks long, and the normal 4x. But with the two smaller ones, you can actually build any size you want in case it.
yeah a 3. I'll go over to my plant to demonstrate that because this hornet plant that I teased the other day was kind of something that was really cool because we were able to run these type of configurations before, coming out of the sorters and going into like the jaw crushers and angles, bends, and mergers and things like that. You see, I was able to come out and not have to run anything through anything else to get with the effect that I wanted to have the wash plants coming out the side.
Yeah.
And it makes it to where you can use way less parts or maybe a little bit more parts, but to make your plant more compact, which I
Yeah.
think they look really nice. I tried to build this one after realism, so as much as you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we have added the splitter and the mergers finally, so you can actually make something with that also. Um,
Yeah, these here that I'm
so
showing are the splitters that come out. I don't know if you were elaborating on how much the output was. If you run a single into a splitter, will it just double the output, or is it still just 1-to-1?
I believe it's still 1-to-1. The plan is to get different speed of conveyors that are differently, how expensive they are.
Didn't mean to push that one out. Sorry.
You actually didn't, but when I said it, I realized that's not actually the case anymore. We're going a bit different route with it. So we that hasn't been decided yet, but there will be different conveyors that will have different
So kind of like
speeds.
in a sense, like kind of like a tiered system, something a little bit more bigger, beefier, more expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice. I mean, I know a lot of people
Um,
in the chat right now are probably like thumbs up right now. Hell yeah, bigger, better,
yeah,
beefier. Let's go.
yeah. There to to add to that, there might be a little bit of the conveyors might go as fast as how much power they actually have, and how much you can actually power them with, depending on
Full
how much
power.
power you produce.
Need hypes in the chat right now, dudes. Anything on the power generation system then? Kind of talking about it a little bit. How we keep the power going? How do we keep the lights on, so to speak?
Well, as you might have guessed, we're gonna go with well, coal.
Oh,
And yeah, uh, and I really hope. that we can actually also, the plan is also to run just diesel generators in the future.
I like, that's
So,
nice. So for like really super
we,
far remote, starting up, haven't quite
well,
started the operation yet.
well, the end goal is that you're just going to be able to basically build your own little sort of plant where you use coal to power stuff, or if you want to drill for oil and refine that into fuel, or like whatever. But you're actually going to need that to power the conveyors and power your plants and all that kind of stuff.
So you're going to need a lot of power generation if you're running conveyor belts.
Yeah.
You're going to need some wicked amount of power.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. We like hearing some of the snippets. We don't like to push you guys too much because we know things can change, and people get like, "Oh, you said you're going to do this," but that's just the way it goes, guys. It's really nice to hear some things that might be coming out for us to play with,
Yeah.
and keep everything just in motion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We actually have, even though these updates seems quite packed, we actually have, they're gonna be a end of the year release video on what's coming, what we've been working on that we haven't actually hinted on at all.
So we also have the splitters and mergers. You guys can see on the side here. You'll see the direction. You'll see the obviously 1 into 2 and 2 into 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory which one's which. You got the merger, and then you have the splitter. This one, right? You can see directional flow on the plants now, guys. That's very nice. Also too on the trommels and the sorter, as well as on the belts, you'll see flow direction also.
Yeah.
We also have the drop trommel as well too. Do you care to a little bit more in depth on why you guys put the drop trommel in?
The drop trommel is mainly for just realism, since you can have the trommels just as they are as well. So we thought that was a nice add-on if you wanted to customize your trommels. If you wanted to sort stuff that way. Then there's gonna be a change in functionality for them coming later as well, but that is probably coming with the sort of rework of how ores and stuff like that work.
And as I said earlier in the video as well, these can all be paintable as well too. So you just make sure you have it in your hotbar. Mine is obviously dirty. Been here for too long collecting dust.
Yeah. Mining stuff tend to collect quite a lot of dust.
I logged in this morning and I was like, does everything look dusty? It's sitting in the warehouse. It's sitting in the warehouse waiting to be used.
Yeah.
And we also got these corner pieces too, which are also paintable for your roofs, guys. They also come in different cement blocks also in the corners.
Yeah.
And you also have polished concrete, rough concrete, and
just the normal concrete.
Just the normal as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all the different building. You cannot paint the concrete. See how it says cannot paint, or the wood. But any metal tile. Second. Yeah, any paintable. Get that as fast as possible. But yeah, you can paint anything in this. In this, you guys can paint here.
Yeah.
All these pieces can be painted, and all the production pieces.
Yeah. And in the future, when we remake the wood and stuff like that, that will also be paintable. But
like a varnish or a stain.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Because you'd still want to see the wood grain, right? Because that's the whole point of building with wood.
Yeah.
I would, you know what I mean? So I would assume that you still want to see the grain. But yeah, that'd be really nice. You want some nice like flooring. Looks a little different when you come in. That'll also come into place something else that's coming out possibly soon.
Yeah.
You'll want not a lot of nice little nifty little features.
Yeah. To truly bring the Sims type feeling into everything. To bring a little Sims into the game. And while we're at the production, the Drumconic Storyteller's question. Any plans for the chute to stop pumping out if the truck is full or there's no truck present? Yeah, there's gonna be more ways to control stuff in the production with switches, stuff like that. So there's stuff coming.
Yeah, right now it's like I can relate to the question. We've actually talked about this quite a bit in depth on stream about having the plants, you know, the truck pretty much realize when it's full or not automated, but a switch would be nice. But an automated chute is, I think, something a lot of the players would like, where if the truck is full under its hitbox of a chute, it just stops. So that way you're not just overfilling forever and things like that. Great question, because I know that's the one that's been brought up quite a bit in my chat while I'm streaming.
Yeah. And we will also, at the moment, there's nothing in the works, but there will be changes to, or not changes, but we will do more underground as well coming up.
Now, here's a question that's probably going to be asked a million times. Should we delete our old plants because they're not the new stuff?
No. And you don't need new saves either.
You just can't paint it.
Yeah, the old stuff can't be painted because, well, backwards compatibility wasn't possible. But
it still functions and everything's good.
Yeah. But everything works, but it doesn't have the fancy features that the new stuff has.
I'm sure everyone's going to go out and rip out their wash plants and rechange everything.
Yeah.
Seems like we're getting a lot of questions about the underground stuff. I don't have it on this mine site here, guys. Because it's kind of, for me, I guess I'll point to a question. Like the CTM, being able to have like a dump truck or something like that attached to it.
Yeah, the CTM was basically an afterthought when we added it in, but considering how popular it is getting, we have to do something about it. Like, we have to, that's gonna be expanded on, definitely.
Yeah, its gameplay system needs to be adjusted or addition. It needs to be refined and added. Yeah. It doesn't have a good gameplay feeling, because the only way to really currently play with it as a player, guys, for me, like I pointed this out a long time ago, actually, during the underground Q&A, I just was like, I had to come up with a new way to play with it, because it didn't really make sense when it first came out. That's why the belt mining and all those things like that kind of came out, because it just made sense to use it that way. But I do agree with everybody else saying that we need the underground needs a little bit more gameplay feel, or system to it. Yeah. Like, obviously, we're probably not going to be able to connect a haul truck up to it, because that's not really how they don't bring haul trucks into caves, right, or tunnels. But the smaller, was it the 40 AT40 30 would be the one you want to connect up to that.
Yeah, but just in general for the underground, we will have way more stuff for it in the future. But there is more focus on the overground, or like the open pit stuff now, because we have a lot of like big vehicle reworks coming up.
So yeah, pretty much just be patient with the underground at the moment.
it's definitely not been forgotten. It's just we've had a lot of stuff to do. So
Yeah,
it's coming.
the underground patch was great. I'd have to say
Yeah.
it was a really good patch. It gave us a really good idea of how we were going to be interacting with things underground. I think it was a great start, but definitely, like everything else, needs to be polished on. And
Yeah.
you know, and work in progress,
Yeah.
so to speak. But I mean, I guess I want to touch on that for just a second, guys. This year's been insane. It's been insane, absolutely insane. Like following the game, playing the game. A lot of us have thousands of hours into it. I just like to say you guys have done an amazing job over the last year, like putting and coming up with the
Thank you.
patches and keeping the game playable was obviously in your mind at all times. Some things weren't working. There's a lot of irritation, a lot of people getting pissed off and stuff like that. But overall, you guys did a really good job of keeping it playable, right? Like I think that is the thing. The main thing is I can't recall a game that's been changed and upgraded so much based upon the fans suggesting things and still kept playable and still kept updating. I've not played a game in a long time. And for me, this is one of my favorite genres to play is the mining, and that it's been super refreshing, right? Because I can play a game and I can dig and I can mold and I can change. And I know that if something's gonna be broken, it might only be broken for maybe like a week or two or a month. Right. And that in the gaming space as a player, I really enjoy that. And I think that that's a really good thing you guys have been able to do.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. And like my sort of reasoning on this is that since basically most of the development team, and like from my standpoint, I just come from an operator's background, like heavy equipment operator and mechanic. So the entire development thing of the game might not be industry standard, where we have sometimes failed on delivering that kind of industry standard stuff. But every time we have done it, we've always tried to correct what we've done as fast as possible. Like with the controller system, for example, where I was quite sure that when we built the old system, that was going to be just what we wanted to have. Then it turned out that it wasn't actually what we wanted at all. So then we had to rework that until we actually felt like we had something that we liked. So yeah, it's all in the pursuit of expanding the game with content and keeping it fun for everybody. And sometimes we might fail at it, but we always try to do as good as possible and use the feedback to improve the game.
Teasing them right now with the hoppers being able to be connected together.
Ooh, yeah.
That's one thing I actually did not put in the video. Is that they can actually be connected together again. They're open-ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, dude. It's been amazing for us sim diggers. We needed this game, honestly, man. I think a lot of the hardcore players will come and go over the months and the year.
Yeah.
I think we all know that it's going to take time. I mean, this community has been very patient. We've had some people rage out, stuff like that, super impatient, and stuff like that. But that's just the world. Some people are just not ever going to be happy. That's okay. They're entitled to that, right? But
Yeah.
overall, it's been fun. It's been pleasant. I know for me, I had a great time interacting with and you guys. Even though we're all like, "No, we all want this. No, we want that," and then 1 minute it's like, "No, we're getting this," or "We're not." We're not. That's all good. It's great banter. And like I said, join up on the NMC. Christian's in there. He always talks and answers questions. We love doing these Q&As because we can actually just chat live and BS. It's nothing serious. Just we're not trying to postpone the patch for you guys and make you guys hold out. We're just trying to get this game a little bit more light and a little bit more spotlight where there's not very many people are playing it, right? So, and you guys get to meet Christian and chat with him. Tries to answer as many. Trying not to interrupt much, just kind of play and let him do it. But obviously, being a host, kind of have to, you know, do our thing. If there's like I said, keep answering questions, man. Whatever it's all his show. I'm just hosting it, so
yeah, and keeping it together.
Yeah, try to keep it at a certain pace to keep try to block it together because we want to try to make sure we're on par with not forgetting anything.
Yeah. On the question of is there a way to for the GPS to auto adjust? There will be future updates to GPS because I want that to function like the real world sort of tremble systems and stuff like that. But that's far in the future. That's not our priority at the moment. So that's not coming for the close future. We do have plans for bigger hoppers, but at the moment you can actually build bigger hoppers or smaller or whatever, just using roof blocks attached to the hoppers if you want them bigger.
Yeah, I'm flying over my hopper right now. I added 4 of them together, and then I did a double. So I kind of made myself a stacker feeder that goes into single, which then splits into a double.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's quite open with how you can build it at the moment.
I'm enjoying this stuff because like I said, I can make the plant look more real. Whether it's functional to the point of the min-max of the game for myself, a lot of people have been following this season that I was doing, the season 3. I went a little bit more real with the mine sites and stuff like that. And this update allows me to make a plant that looks kind of like something you'd have in real, you know, and to make it look really like small, compact. Yeah. And have the flow look like it runs.
Yeah. And to answer Galhort's question regarding the dozer being a bit performance heavy, it is gonna be a bit performance heavy because how much dirt it actually pushes. But it's being looked into, and it will be improved in there's, like I said, a lot of vehicles will get overhauled in the close future.
So as a player, I have a question to kind of go along with that. Is there a way that we can get to where the dozer just doesn't create anything type of mode, maybe, where we can just turn that off if we have performance issues, but leave it for the players that do not have? Like if we want to turn off the voxel or the balls being spawned, is that, you know, is there a way to just to make it to where we can do that? Spawning
just basically
the remerge, just completely turn off remerge pretty much for a dozer mode, just so it's only a cutting mode.
We could do that, but would that we might want some kind of specialty machine instead, because I have a feeling that it's not gonna be very realistic if we actually have on the cutting mode. Even though it's optional, some players might not like having that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Make it like an option, because I know some people do have a lot of issues with the dozer. I generally have a little bit, but only when I'm dozing on the side of mountains and the voxels are rolling down the hill for a really long period of time.
Yeah.
And you're starting to hit like the limit of the ball being the amount that can be in the world at one time as well.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people might have and everybody's computer is different, right? So that's why I was wondering if it's possible to just have a dozer cutting mode, cutting and
Yeah,
it doesn't do
it,
any remerge or until you guys
yeah,
can get that going and all the other stuff that's
yeah, and like that's possible, but we do in the works. There's already a solution to the issue,
nice.
so it shouldn't be needed in the future. Um, 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 and I mentioned the hydraulics update. That's actually quite close on the roadmap, but the hydraulics will be added to each vehicle that gets the rework done. So basically, the hydraulic update will first come to the excavators and the dumpers, I believe. Those two might come together in the same update. I don't know yet, but that's for that.
I mean, if you're having some performance issues with the dozer, you can also use it in bulk mode.
Yeah,
That way you can fill your blade up, let it push, do its thing. Yes, it is a slower form of the dozer, but it is definitely, like you said, it's just thing with the game. It's was it VPP?
yeah. And regarding that, with performance issues, there will be sort of in 2024, there will be a major upgrade to this, and that will include a world update, a ore body update, what material you can mine update, and all that kind of goody stuff. But that's coming in 2024 sometime. I don't have a date for that. There's quite a lot of work involved in that. But yeah, that's gonna be along with a massive world update. Yeah,
It's your boy Scott. Question: more ores being added, copper,
oh
things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Forgot about that. Is there a plan for mobile conveyors? Yes, there is. There's also a plan for mobile crushers and perhaps wash plants.
Sorry, just had a moment there. Mobile wash plants. I like pay dirt dudes.
Yeah,
So you're looking at adding super stackers, just to kind of elaborate here. Super stackers, possibly mobile wash plants, and mobile crushers. Dang,
yeah,
that's awesome. I
but
was just like
yeah,
this when I would say thank you, Matt. Chat, dude. Yeah, that's really good because like for me, it's like I like the building aspect of the game, right? I like the building of the wash plants and stuff like that. Like we'll call it the company, right? I like to build
yeah,
the infrastructure, but I also want to be able to have mobile sites where I maybe don't use the building, but use a standalone piece of machinery to get the
yeah,
same effect and then haul it off or maybe into my inventory, things like that, right? Like after I've already done leveled and things like
yeah,
that, kind of to have a little bit more of a simulation feel of realism
yeah,
versus other games where it's just more like satisfactory style wash
yeah,
plants and things like that.
yeah,
That's good. So if we're going to be having like standalone wash plants or crushers or super stackers and things like that, that makes me stoked because that's along the lines of what a lot of people have been working in this genre for a while is a big heavy equipment for like say processing. I guess as you're saying, possibly wash plants. Would those things be orientated closer to like say higher gold recovery, or and then the gravel be more obviously for running bedrock and things like that, right?
yeah. It's those details I haven't really figured out yet. So that's a bit of an unwritten card at the moment.
In the works.
Yeah, it's in the works. Yeah, that's all I can say at the moment with that.
Yeah, we'll try to push what we can, guys, but we can't push too far.
Yeah, no. Nah, like it doesn't matter what I say now because it's so far out that it's probably not going to be true when it actually arrives, because stuff changes.
Or how it's gonna play, how it's gonna feel. Then obviously you let all of us play it, right? I mean, you have your select testers, and then you have everybody, which is pretty much a beta tester as well in the community. Which people are like, well, why don't we get to play it early or this or that? The game is constantly in the works, guys. You guys are all beta testers. So if there's any issues, make sure you guys report them and also give your feedback, because everything like was a high amount of stuff that you've done to the game has been based off of fans, right?
Yeah. But we still have like a plan for everything, but a lot of what we change and how stuff like how you want to play the game actually changes with player feedback.
Yes, this game has, how many excavators does it have? A lot.
I think we only have 32 or something at the moment.
Yeah, it's only like 32. You know, it's not a lot. There's enough equipment.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit of equipment. You know?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we've dropped enough hints, so I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Any other questions you want to be able to get this wrapped up? I'm sure the update's ready to probably press the finalize.
Yeah,
so everybody's dying to play this the rest of their weekend. I'll be taking the rest of today off. I have some things that I have to take care of, guys, so I will not be streaming this tonight. But I will be starting up my season 4 soon. So if you have any questions, you ever want to come in and chat, hang out, do things like that, be starting back up here soon. Rolling, we just, like I said, we just want to get these Q&As out to you guys so you guys can chat with us, hang out, talk about the game. Don't forget to join Discord, guys. Join the Out of War Discord. Post your guys' screenshots in your mind. Share your ideas, because you never know if it's going to be able to be put into the game, right? So
yeah, and like if I missed your question on this, just tag me and write it in the game chat. So
absolutely. Well, Christian, it's been great. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Another month down, another patch. Well, we're all looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Get everybody out, get everybody playing, and get those bugs reported to guys. Yeah, it's getting late for you, so.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Split.
No problem, man. Anytime. We really like doing these. I know my mod and the community really looks forward, and everyone keeps asking me whether we're going to be doing more Q&As and stuff. And yeah, when the patches are nice and big and a lot of work's done, guys, we'll try interaction to you guys as we possibly can, and much information as well. So that, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. Like I said, sorry if we didn't get to any of your questions. Personal. Get in Discord, hang out, smash the like button, see what's up, and I'll be around here soon, guys. Like I said, Christian, have a great night. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah. Peace out.